A couple of months ago, when I did a review of my Fezzari Cascade Peak, my one complaint was that I felt like I lacked some engagement in the rear hub. Well, hopefully that's about to change. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. As always, my name is Todd and I'm an old ass mountain biker. So the plan is to upgrade from the 3 Pawl Freehub that I have currently to a new 6 Pawl Freehub body, and that should significantly increase the engagement. So let's see how it's done. Before we get started, let's take a quick look at some of the things that you're going to need. So we will need some kind of chain whip and cassette lock ring removal tool. I have a adjustable crescent wrench that I can use to hold on to that, 6mm hex key for removing the rear wheel, some grease if we need, some wet lube for the pawls and the springs on the new Freehub body. It's always a good idea to have some kind of gloves on hand, as well as a solvent, a rag, and of course the Freehub body itself. So the first step in this upgrade is to remove the wheel from the bike, and for that I have a 6mm hex key. Remember, there's a fair amount of torque applied to these bolts, so when you're ready to remove them, go ahead and hold the underside of the frame and give yourself a good solid push, and then once it's removed or loosened, you can just unscrew it all the way through. Once you've removed the wheel, it's a good idea to put your through axle back into the bike, because this is something you don't want to lose. So once we've removed the wheel from the bike, we need to remove the cassette from the wheel. And to do that, we have our cassette puller that we will fit on nice. We have our chain whip. I'm not going to go into too much detail how to use this. There's plenty of videos out there. Pick something in the middle, kind of give it a wrap around, and then the opportunity to get a good hold on it. We're going to take our adjustable wrench, and this is going to take, again, a fair amount of force. There's about 30 pound-foot of torque when these are set. So it's, you know, give yourself some good leverage and give it a good hard push. And there we go, it should start coming loose. If you have one of the pullers that doesn't have the pin that fits the inside of a mountain bike, you have to be extra diligent and careful that you are keeping this straight so that we don't accidentally damage the threads inside. Once you have sufficiently loosened the lock nut, you can go ahead and put the wheel up on the table. Just be careful when you put your wheel down that you don't put any extra pressure on the brake disc on the other side. We don't want to cause it any warping. I'm going to go ahead and give the last couple twists with my hand, and then the whole should come off as one piece. My bike is brand new, for the most part 6 months old. As you can see, the cassette really doesn't require any kind of cleaning, so I'm just going to go ahead and put it off to the side for now. So with the cassette removed, we want to grab the axle from the side with the brake rotor on it, and it'll give after a little bit of a tug, and this allows the end cap to come off no problem. With the end cap removed, you can gently grab the Freehub body. Be careful, we don't want to lose any of the springs or pawls. And let's see how many I lost. all 3 of them. But that's okay. Let's fish those out, and then we're gonna replace them with the 6 Pawl hub. So I made the executive decision to leave the original factory grease inside the Freehub. Not 100% comfortable cleaning it all out and replacing it just with chain lube. Everything I've read says it should be enough, but I've decided I might sacrifice a little bit of sound, and I'm okay with that. But I am going to lube all of the Pawls and the springs with Muck Off wet lube. That was the #1 recommended thing that I saw on the internet. If you service your Freehubs with some other kind of lubricant, let me know what you use in the comments below. With the Pawls well lubricated, next thing we want to do is insert it into the XD or the Freehub body, and you turn it slightly. So as you can see, it was a little easier to lay it flat, but turning it slowly, you do get it to click in. Then we're gonna take our axle and we're gonna slide it back through. If you hit any resistance, there is a center spacer on this side that can sometimes move out of alignment. And if you can, try and stick your pinky in there and realign it. Once it comes through, we're gonna lay it back down on its side. We're going to reattach our end cap. Oh yeah, that's a nice sound. With the end cap back in place, we just want to make sure we go ahead and add a little bit of grease around the threads. We don't want to have any seizing with the cassette. It's pretty good. And again, if you've done this kind of stuff a lot and I'm doing something unnecessary, you know, go ahead and let me know. All right, I'm gonna get it started with my hand, but with a lot of mountain bike components, what's really important is that you make sure you get it with the correct tension. So we are supposed to do this to 40 Newton meters. I don't have a torque wrench that goes up to 40 Newton meters, but I do have one that gets down to 20 pound-foot. And 40 Newton meters is right around 28, 29 pound-foot of torque. So let me go ahead and get my torque wrench set up and get this tightened down. So here we are once again with the wheel on the floor so that we get a little bit of leverage. There we go. When putting your rear wheel back on, pay attention to how tight you should torque your rear axle. Remember, this is what's holding your contact point with the ground to your bike, so it's very important you get it correctly. Mine is 10 Newton meters. I have a much smaller torque wrench for parts like this. And there we go.